Critical Blast, where pop culture gets blasted.
And good evening, everybody. Welcome again to the Critical Blast podcast. It is time for the LCS guys. The first time we've done it in 2021, or as I like to call it, 2020, the second season. Hope you're all tuned in and got the popcorn ready. We've got a lot to talk about tonight, so let's go ahead and bring in our guests. First of all, welcome our guest co-host tonight. From the Mighty Mascots, we have Mr. Keith Gleason. Keith, how are you doing tonight?
Hey, RJ. Great to be back, man. Good to see you.
Always good to have you on here. So you're getting ready to kick off another epic story with the Mighty Mascots, I see.
Yeah, I'm working on issues 4, 5, and 6 right now. Those 4 and 5 are in the can. 6 is being worked on right now. I hope to be done February sometime, hopefully, or early March. And then I'm going to fulfill all my Indiegogo backers, and then it'll be available for everybody else from Alterna sometime this year, probably in the summer, I would imagine. He's going to and then I'm already starting to write the next 3 issues now. So I might be doing another Indiegogo come like May or something,
Hey, you're also participating in Don Chin's Indiegogo for X-Parse Reloaded. You got
I just put the finishing touches on my story today, so I'm going to be sending it to him tonight or tomorrow. I don't know if he told you what I was doing for him though. Like, have you been keeping up with the X-Men at all, or?
I saw the tweet that said somebody said, "Hey, that's directly out of this storyline." House of X or
yeah. Yeah, it's the new status quo, I guess, for the mutants right now, with Jonathan Hickman, and I read it. I actually really enjoyed it, but it's definitely something you can make fun of because it's way over complicated for no reason,
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's where a lot of the jokes are, basically,
Let's move on and bring in our
let's bring in guys
for our local comic shop guys. None of which are local to me tonight, so it's kind of not the norm to show that. But from Fantastic Comics in Berkeley, California, we have Yul Carter. Yul, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
How's your year going?
It's a wonderful year.
It's December the 45th, from what I understand.
Yeah, something like that. It's the baby New Year hasn't come out of its hole yet, really. It's all its shadow.
Baby New Year's breach, and it's not wanting to come out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
And then from Blast Beat, Austin, Texas, we have Brian Cook. Brian, welcome.
I have breaking news. I have accepted a position in the Biden administration. I'm kidding. That is a joke. I would never. I saw a great quote the other day. It was a podcast with Corey Taylor, the singer of Slipknot. He said that about 2 years ago, he got a call from NBC asking if he wanted to be a judge on The Voice. He said, and I quote, "I couldn't hang up on them fast enough." That's how I feel.
Oh, man. Well, before we get too deep into things, I want to let people know, and I'm going to put a banner up to remind them here. One of the links below, Boogie Bentley, welcome to the show. Glad you're here. We are doing a live giveaway on this show tonight. We are going to give away this. This is a gold chase figure of the Joker from the Spin Master Cape Crusader series. So this is, as you can see, he's all gold. And, you got your mystery accessories in here. We don't know what they are. This is mint in box. So there's a link below that will take you to the contest link. All you got to do is just basically tweet a message through that form that it takes you to that says, "Hey, we're giving something away live on our stream." Let everybody know on Twitter. And at the end of the show, we will go out there, stop the contest, and have its little random engine pick a winner, and we'll tell you who won right here on the show. So there won't be any mysteries about that. We'll keep showing this from time to time. So if you're into action figures, by all means, click on there and go through our Rafflecopter link. Oh, goodness gracious.
Chilling.
Has anything happened in comics this year yet? That's, I've been kind of, I haven't talked about it much on the shows, but I've been in kind of a limbo because on November the 20th last year was my last day of work. And I have not started work yet, but I have accepted a position. So I'm waiting to start making that paycheck, but it hasn't got here yet. So I haven't been buying many comics or backing any. What am I missing out on?
In the store, you mean right now?
Sure, in the stores or yeah, that's where we buy comics. We buy them.
Sure. Well, I don't think you really if there was a good time as far as not purchasing comic books, it's probably right now if you're a DC fan.
Yep.
Because they're doing Future State, and although there are some good books in there, and there's probably something everybody's going to like, in March those are going to be over, and we're going to be back to normal. So, or at least what the new normal is going to be.
It's 2 months of Elseworlds, from what I understand.
Pardon me?
2 months of Elseworlds.
Yeah, maybe so. I also thought it was more like a 1 year later, or some other things DC's done in the past, or I'm sure Marvel has also. Something happened here, but we're over here, and we're only going to really talk about it loosely for the most part.
Yeah.
So it can tie in later or not.
I agree with you, Yule. Like when I saw the listings for Future State, there was no creative teams really on any of the books that really spoke to me at all. Where was
minor leaguers and interns?
Yeah, seriously. I there was nothing by James Tynion or Scott Snyder or even Robert Venditti. If one of them were on a book, I would have jumped on one. You know what I mean?
Sure.
It's Assistant Editors Month.
Yeah, that's what it felt like. I think a lot of their books are going to be that way, right? When they return, some of these guys are going to be part of the creative teams now.
It looks like that. There's still going to be good pencilers. I think it's a lot of writers that we don't know from outside of comic books, or loosely affiliated with comic books, and probably cheaper. And maybe more in tune with what they're going to be doing in their multimedia strategies, So they are definitely losing some creators, or some creators that they usually have at DC are going to be doing creator-owned things. Recently, Jimmy Palmiotti said that he was going to do crowdfunding more. So he's all over Marvel and DC with Amanda Connor. So if they're not there, it looks definitely like there is a new breed of person that's running things for the most part.
Clarify this for me, because I've heard conflicting things. Is Jim Lee still there? Or are they giving him the boot already?
Hey, he's still there. I think he'll probably be the last guy standing.
He's going to be the lightning rod who takes all the blame. Okay.
I don't know if it's even going to work that way. He's his face. When he draws something, you like it. He designs everything. He has a lot of things invested in the company. So I don't think Jim Lee's probably his life is in danger as far as that job is concerned.
You'll get to shut the door and turn the lights out.
Yeah, it probably is. And maybe he'll leave early. I mean, I could see that, but he has pals that still work there, so you don't want to leave your buddies behind all the time.
Michael has joined the show here. I didn't hear the beep.
I'm sorry?
I didn't hear the beep that the software usually gives me when somebody comes in, so I just saw that the scroll bar had expanded. I'm like, oh, there's something down there. Oh, there's Michael. Bring him in. I hope you weren't sitting there long.
I was a little bit late getting here.
No problem. Everybody's here. So, Michael, I don't know if you've met Keith Gleason. He does a series for Alterna called Mighty Mascots. Does it for himself, and then Alterna does it later, I guess. I don't know what the real way to.
Hey, Mike. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So Keith, let me give you the backstory on who this group is and why it's here. way back when the government decided to shut down everything everywhere almost. I got curious about how comic shops were dealing with the COVID crisis and with all the shutdowns and everything. So I reached out all around the country to different people. And Yule was in California. Michael was in Little Rock. Dave Dyer is, of course, right here in St. Louis. And then, Brian came on later. We had some other guys to figure out, how are you guys staying afloat? What's the plan? Since that time, Yule has moved to a smaller store and has basically gone to graphic novels, I believe, mostly.
It's actually, I was graphic novels, and I've become more of a back issue seller and current seller. But we're working on things to have an online inventory so that people can shop our store like you got to do these days.
Yeah, exactly. And, because Yule's store was shut down pretty much completely. Dave's store was, we can do back alley deals and curbside service. Michael's store was completely open because Arkansas closed nothing, and then Diamond got shut down. So now Michael is mail order only and closed his stores and is working out of his house. Probably not going to be doing much more mail order too, I guess, from what you said last night about the DC fans just kind of noped right out for the time being.
Yeah, they're not really excited about this future state. It's just hardly anybody signed up for it. And I've had a lot of people just saying that's when they come back, it's going to be without me.
Yeah, that's what we were just talking about. Like they just second stringer creative teams on those books and no one's interested,
Right.
I think another problem is dovetailed into that because we're 16 days into the year, and there's already been a Twitter scandal that I remember Tom King specifically, that he did the 4-page spread of the talking head talking on the phone, and then everybody on the internet started pointing out that cheating tactic people are using. That left people were already not cool with the big two in the first place, and I think that just a lot of people have checked out from them. Because of that, because this is par for course now. This is your normal. No, thank you.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Where the first time I saw talking head repeated on a page was, though? Now I'm going to say it's first time, but I think there's a tie. Frank Miller's Dark Knight. And then Keith Giffen was doing it as well with one of his books.
Well, yeah, I remember one
9-panel-page stuff.
This is a memory check for everyone. Matt Groening of The Simpsons. Before The Simpsons, he did Life is Hell, which in the Houston Press paper had the concert listings. It'd be in the back, right? And he would do that tactic, but check it out. He's Matt Groening. He has an imagination and a brain. He's not a tool who works for DC. That's the difference there. It can be done right. These guys ain't doing it right.
Well, the bone of contention.
University Square to Liberty Medals.
Yep.
Well, I mean, the bone of contention is that when it's in a superhero book and superheroes are just standing around talking for like 2 or 4 pages straight, maybe eating food, a bunch of the book and stuff like that. Superhero books are supposed to be a little bit more action packed. That's what Vertigo used to be, the talking heads books, or, independent autobiographical books, Yeah,
that's a big pet peeve of mine, especially Snyder is ridiculously good at avoiding action in his books. He loves to cut away from the action scenes just as they're about to happen. I remember I was reading one of his Justice League issues, and I don't know what the part of the storyline was, but Batman was by himself when the Legion of Doom attacks, and he cuts away to something else, and it's like, no, wait a second, go back to that. I want to see what happens, And then
it's just Batman standing over a bunch of unconscious bodies.
Well, that's what happened. They go back to it. He's already cleaned up everything, and it's just like, wait a second, how did that happen? It's just, they don't like to do the action anymore in these books.
Well, I'll tell you what, we did have some good books, or at least people think we had some good books in 2020, and as proof of that, I've gone to cut away over here because we are actually doing our voting now for the nominees for the best comic book story of 2020. And there is a link to that in the description below, and where we run our annual Best of Awards. So let's. I just want to run through what the best comic book story nominations were, and this year is different, guys, because usually it's like some of the big DC, some of the big Marvels, maybe one or two independents that did really well, but crowdfunding has just like they bellied up to the bar and just shouldered right in like they belong there. So you're going to see a lot of weird stuff popping up here in the nominee list this year. And it starts off right away with The Adventures of Kim Il-sung and Best Korea, which is a crowdfunded book from the UK. Kami Mark is the guy who's doing that one. Then of course we're right back into Dark Knight's death metal. Deceased Dead Planet. Another crowdfunded one, Demon Hunter Raven. Dynamite's Dynamite.
Dynamite.
Yeah, their cutesy little turn on the title there to their zombie crossover saga. Dominion from Terminus Media, The Fall of the House of Saul.
Terrific art on that book, by the way.
There really is. And on this one, too, I should mention Downcast, Rise and Fall. This one's from Clint Stoker. Another crowdfunded book.
That's coming out from Alterna, too.
That's right, it is. It is going to be an alternate book. Thank you for reminding me of that.
Yeah.
Eudaimonia from Joshua Plack.
Where was that from?
That's another crowdfunded indie book.
Really? Wow.
Graveyard Shift from John Malin. The Joker War. I had to go through a lot of crowdfunding to get back to DC's huge event, which should have just been like front and center normally. Common America, which comes out from Antarctic Press, but is also crowdfunded. And then we finally see some Marvel. King in Black. Kyrie, which is another crowdfunded title. Ancient Roman story there. Brian Pulido's Lady Death. This is an alphabetical order.
Also.
Crazy. Yeah, this is a nice wholesome book. Lillian Wepwawet. This is from Tonic Mole Comics. Some really good art on this one.
Title on the side like that, just to let you know. If I have it in my store and it's not on top, the lettering of what the title is, it's a shame because there's gonna be something else blocking it. And you want your title to be read.
You know what they'll do? Maybe the customers will just think it's a virgin cover when they first see it.
Well, they might, but if they just see.
But wait a second now.
Yeah, I don't like that either. I'm looking for it.
Man, this is the real deal right here. First off, it's L, so I'm trying to think of where my overstock back issues are so that you would be LK. It'd be like right up on the right here, and then there's other things in front of you just you want that on top.
I hear you. Okay, bad design, Tonic Mole, figure that one out. Niobe Birthright from Rebel Gaming, Rebel Comics. Punchline and the Vaudevillains from the same guys who do Tap Dance Killer, the shirt that I'm wearing tonight. The Hero Tomorrow folk. Red Rooster.
Wait a second.
Hey, it came out.
What was that?
It came out in 2020, just not where you thought it would.
They're getting close.
Very good.
And it was a good book. What's come out so far? Saving the World. This is another Tonic Comics one. Soulbound. This is Paula Ritchie. This is also Alterna. Starring Sonia Devereaux. This one's the graphic novel, but she had several comics came out last year and crowdfunding some new ones already. T-Bird and Throttle, another crowdfunder.
Another Alterna, too.
Yeah, Alterna's presence here. Titan Mouse of Might. I'd really like to get my hands on this one because it looks interesting.
Yeah.
I know it's Bat Mouse, but still it looks interesting. and Don has figured out what's selling comics these days. Well, welcome to Selling Comics, Don. Yes, there's a common theme of booty.
The American way.
Yeah.
U.S. Assassin from Mark Polton and Mike McMahon. Vestry, another crowdfunded one. This is another Roman supernatural thriller.
Another.
Villainous from Mad Cave Studios. And finally, X of Swords.
Oh, how dare you? That is not really.
Hey, this is just nominees. I'm not saying what's going to win.
It's like the Academy. Am I allowed to say that? I can't remember.
Yeah,
it's like the Golden Awards show.
Where is this list from, or is it?
Yeah, really.
The list is just suggestions among the staff and other people outside, and a lot of it was what's being talked about most on Twitter. So we just said, okay, this is like a decent list of let's cap it off here, because it was really, we've already had a lot of people say, hey, how come you didn't list this one or this one or this one or this one or this one? And I'm like, yeah, those are all really good books too, but we had the write-in capability is there. If nobody thinks that any of these are the things that should be the winner, then write it in. We've had people writing it in. I know what's in the lead right now because I can see the votes. I'm not going to mention it, but we've got a strong write-in candidate coming in as well too.
Surprised Batman's not on there. Tynion's Batman's.
He had the Joker War.
Yeah, the Joker War was the storyline basically there. I guess that would be Tynion's work.
Yeah, it's still good after that too. I've been enjoying that book a lot.
Yeah, me too. It's not Batman's not really my bag usually. And as far as like storylines within the Batman title itself, it's one of my favorite ones I've ever read.
Really
go for it. No,
he really turned it around after Tom King's disastrous run.
Yeah. I was thinking like most of my favorite Batman is usually like Dark Knight Returns or maybe his appearance in Cosmic Odyssey, stuff like that. But like his for the longest time in the 80s and before, Batman wasn't the number one superhero book at DC, and its sales weren't really the greatest anyway. Until that movie.
Changed.
That movie, man, it really helped.
I'll tell you, I heard some people talking about, the James Tynion Batman is fantastic. It's just excellent. And I was like, I was almost caught up in it. I was like, but I read them, and when I look at them again, they're not really. But I think the bar was set so low for so long. that anything that has Batman throwing a punch now is like, oh, thank God, Batman's back.
Well, and the artwork was so fantastic.
Yes.
Before it had Daniel, and then it had I can't think of the guy's name right now, who was doing the Joker War stuff, and then they had March and other people. So it's looked really good also.
It has looked good, and but when I look at the Joker War, I can't tell whether it takes place over the course of 3 months, or over the course of a night, because it's like Batman and Selina breaking into this place to get to the place where the money is hidden, and it's all one solid string of action. And yet on the outside, Joker's taken over the whole town, replaced everybody in places of power and politics. I'm like, it's almost like Batman and Selina are in Narnia. And everyone else is on Earth, and time is running at different speeds.
It's like an animated sitcom, how like all these things can happen over the course of, 30 minutes or less, even, congressional actions and stuff like that.
Exactly. And am I wrong, or is DC trying to make Harley Quinn a superhero?
Yeah, they are.
No, you're not wrong. They're trying to do to Harley Quinn what Marvel did to Venom. We are just burying and disassociating the true origin in the past and turning it into what we want. Yeah, I agree.
I mean, I guess if any of the characters was redeemable, Harley might be the one, because she kind of got twisted by another villain. She was created by a villain, but I don't know. She's still a little loopy.
Well, you're kind of she is, but they're trying to rehabilitate her to where she can be like a star. I think the thing is that if she isn't, then you can't really keep putting her in her own book and expect her to be a pivotal character in their universe. We're kind of seeing that with Punisher over at Marvel for, it's just about perception. If you don't perceive this person as a hero in your superhero comic book, you might not want to like just be showcasing them all the time. And there has to be a change, it seems. A change with the Punisher, a change for Harley Quinn. They've got the new Harley Quinn as Punchline, so she can. And everybody likes Harley, but I think they like her still from the animated series, and like loving all that time up until now, but not necessarily all the things she's been going through anyway, because her comics just been okay at times.
Yeah, I agree. The only thing I really liked, have you guys seen that animated series with Harley Quinn? That's probably the best thing I've seen with that character.
Yeah, but you can't. It's funny how they allow them to do that in an animated thing, but if it was to happen in the comic book, it would not fly.
Yeah, it wouldn't fly at all. Yeah,
it's like, again, even though they're trying to sync everything up, there is a disconnect.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
You bring up the Punisher, and what timing? Because Marvel's facing its own little existential crisis now with the Punisher from real world bleed over, because you've got internet lawyers like Jamal Igle who are saying, "Hey Disney, hey Marvel, how come you're letting these protesters wear the Punisher logo and other such Marvel properties?" I'm like, really? Are we going to, does graffiti designs have to, staple a EULA onto your T-shirts from now on, that, you won't behave in a certain fashion while wearing this particular brand on your clothing?
These people don't even know the history of their own lifetimes. I mean, we're all old enough to remember. You remember when like Ozzy and Judas Priest got blamed for the teen suicides? This is not very far away from that. First off, no one can legislate behavior. The personal responsibility does exist. And can you take a deep breath and calm down in that order of those three, please?
Yeah, we're living in a society that just wants to blame everybody for everything. I've been doing retail for so long. I remember back when the Punisher was rated A for all ages. It was at the Comics Code approval on it. And, back then it sold like 10 to 12 times as many copies as it did when all of a sudden he's a violent guy, we got to make him mature, and it crashed the sales on it. So when the Punisher was rated for all audiences, he was a huge seller. It's crazy.
And he's always been the guy who shows up to kill somebody. He's not, he's never the guy that's out there to solve a mystery. He's like, no, there's no mystery. That's the bad guy. I need to find a way to kill him, and I don't have to be sneaky about it.
Well, I think one of the reasons why he was such a big hit when he came out was we were so used to, with the code, having all these heroes. Like Batman would catch the Joker, lock him up, Joker would escape, kill a bunch of people. Batman would catch him, lock him up, Joker would escape, kill a bunch of people. The Punisher, bam, that's it. No more problems with you. People like it. It was a change.
Well, you say existential crisis, but that kind of plays out in your superhero books also. It's like, Michael is saying, if Batman's going around catching someone who kills people and doesn't end their life eventually after the 50th time, even more now with the Joker, how can they keep doing what they're doing in this, in this universe? At the same time, how can the Punisher keep getting away with killing fools when it's like over 1,000 people easy?
And always kill only the bad guys and never make a mistake. That's
I don't disagree. I mean, the Punisher's pretty flawless when it comes to that aspect, but still.
You got to remember that the original Punisher stories, like the first 3 arcs, from the 70s with Spider-Man, were created in the wake of the success of the first Dirty Harry movie.
Right.
So that was in the popular zeitgeist. You go outside and talk to the next 21-year-old you see, they probably never heard of Dirty Harry. So they strayed and hemmed and hawed and gotten away from the purpose of the character in the first place.
Yeah. He was an executioner type, like Mac Bolan type of character.
Yeah, exactly.
Direct ripoff of Mac Bolan.
Yeah, like a Death Wish too, right? Like Charles Bronson,
Oh yeah, well, even more so that way, because, like you said, Keith, because of the family aspect of it. As far as revenge and the character, I think the Punisher's great. I think he is overexposed when he has his own book. Or multiple. I mean, worse than Batman is a Punisher with multiple titles, as he's killing twice as much a month. And it's like, how does this guy do this? Bullets can't be that excuse.
And the Punisher is a little different than the other major Marvel characters, where his origin is halfway grounded in reality. Mm-hmm. He's a Vietnam veteran. He dealt with New York City corruption. There wasn't a radioactive anything that bit him or whatever. It's not a traditional superhero, so stop treating him like one.
Although he did become an angel of death or something one time. So.
Oh yeah, I remember
that. I like one of the lighthearted covers they did way back when we were still all ages. Had the Punisher on a jet ski, holding the gun, of course. And
I remember that.
Says, "You just rented a jet ski to the Punisher. Kiss that baby goodbye." I like that lighthearted attitude towards it.
I believe that was like when Mike Barron was the writer, and he had a really nice touch on that character. But the more recent years, they've lost their way.
Sometimes people just it used to be a one-trick pony, just grim, and violence, and let's break it up with some more violence. You got to, put a little humor into it, put a little highs and lows, and that's one thing that gets missing in a lot of comics nowadays. They're just like one-trick ponies.
I always like the story. I'm a big Punisher fan, if you can't tell. And back in the 80s and 90s, I like the stories where it'd be Punisher and Microchip, like maintaining their equipment, and they're in the warehouse in Jersey planning their next. The more like, what does this guy do when he wakes up in the morning? It's not nonstop shooting people.
Right. I think Punisher is definitely a character that's, I complain a lot of times about the way they write comic books for trade paperbacks and stuff like that. I actually think the decompressed type of storyline is actually better for a Punisher. He shouldn't be killing everybody in every issue. It should be gaining intel, someone being wrong, so they have to go and get Punisher, him getting his equipment, and then taking care of people, business. I think the decompressed storyline is better when it comes to a Punisher.
Yeah. Did you guys like? Did you like when Ennis was writing it?
I did.
Yes, very much.
Yeah, I like that too, because it had the fun. It had the funny stuff. Yeah. Did you guys with like the super violence? Which I really enjoyed.
Oh yeah.
There were some graphic issues of that run, like when Steve Dillon was the artist. Yes.
I love the way Steve Dillon does people's faces getting shot off, and just little pieces of flesh from out behind.
That issue when
the one where a grizzly bear rips the head
off. Yeah, that issue when he used Spider-Man's unconscious body to fight off the Russian. That issue was amazing.
Keep talking, guys. I found a link problem here. So
okay, very good. Punisher.
Yeah, basically,
the link our giveaway is broke.
The Punisher is not the only character. I think Ghost Rider, I'm talking the Danny Ketch Ghost Rider, not Johnny Blaze. There's so much of a spiritual, if not religious aspect of that character. It's not a traditional superhero. Stop treating it like it's not plug and play. They're not interchangeable. And that's what the current big two creators treat it like. All the characters.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like they got like 2 storylines in them, and that's it. And and they just recycle that over and over and over again.
I also think
that's a big problem with comics because you read the same story over and over again. You look at the first page and you already know everything's going to happen.
Yeah, yeah.
And Marvel doesn't have like a long track record right now with giving people like a lot of rope on those issues. Those, they don't even end at, like the 12th issue. Sometimes it's the 11th issue or even earlier.
And it was always meant to.
What was that?
And it was always meant to. Yeah.
It was always meant to until a miniseries comes out a few months later.
Yeah, but you mentioned earlier about writers and artists, creating for the trade paperback. And they do. I'm not saying that, but I've long suspected that if you think about typical trade paperback, 6 issues combined together, let's call it 20 pages each, 25, whatever. That's the size of a movie script. These are these guys' rejected movie scripts that they're recycling again. It has to be.
I find that maybe a little less in the in the IP, DC and Marvel, the big two, and more in like Image, especially if it's a creator we know is going and doing this for the first time. A lot of times it feels like it is definitely a movie script, or maybe somebody outside. Just for the first time coming in, you find out they're a Hollywood writer, and it's like, oh no.
Yeah. It also feels like it's the second swing at this, not the first.
Yeah,
sometimes they even tell you in the back pages, if you read it, like that new one, that Texas Blood from Image. That's a screenplay. The writer even talks about just having not had any luck making it in Hollywood, so he decided to make a comic with it.
Ouch. I mean, if you really love your idea and you want to get it out there, I don't begrudge you at all. And but if I feel like you're just going to jump back to movies, it often will play out in the script or in the comic book, and it just I don't know about that book, but there's been plenty.
It's a good clarification. And I'm not telling people that you're a garbage creator, go get a job, get at it. I'm not discouraging anyone from making new stuff, but at the same time, I'm not going to treat you like you're William Shakespeare. This is a rejected screenplay. Let's just be realistic about what it is.
Well, some things play out better in different mediums. Oh, this was a great novel, not a great movie. Or maybe the other way around. It doesn't usually happen, but it can.
In the chat,
I like the Jurassic Park movie better than the book. I know I'm one of the only people who did, but I thought the movie was better. It's most often usually the opposite. The book is almost always better.
Almost always, I agree. So we are giving away this gold Joker. The link that I had in the description, for some reason I had the link to this YouTube video. So folks were getting this little infinite recursion thing going on. That's been fixed. If you want to refresh the video, folks, we'll be sad to see you drop off and very happy to see you pop back in. The link should work now. I've also put it out there in the chat. This is the Rafflecopter link. This is the gold chase figure Joker we're giving away tonight. We'll end the contest at the end of the show, end of the stream, and announce the winner live. But as we're talking about comic book creators and which ones fail and how they fail at it, what an excellent time to talk about who the nominees for the best comics writer are for 2020.
I hope it's less. I hope it's less than best of.
This is well. There's only going to be. This will
be the deciders of this.
So we got Bill Williams from Punchline through Antarctic.
Okay.
Clint Stoker, who did the Downcast.
Where are you getting these pictures of these guys?
The internet. The internet has.
That's a Clint Stoker one, really?
Oh yeah, that was Clint Stoker.
Just letting that out there, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just joking.
I'm just joking. Offer picture out there now. So yeah, that's Donnie Cates for all his work on Venom. Of course,
that's who I got to. He also does a ton of stuff.
Oh yeah, Scott Snyder for Justice League. Tom Taylor for Deceased. and Tonic Mole for Lillian Wepwawet and Saving the World. So 2 titles that he's done this.
Yeah, entertaining writers, creative guys. Not talking about that. I'm talking about their headshots there. Those look like Tinder profile shots. That's something new. Yeah.
Tell RJ the one who chose
their pictures in.
Yeah, he wasn't out there getting their headshots, right?
Yeah.
Didn't ask for them.
This was, this is RJ out there saying, okay, I got to get a picture of Donnie Cates. Donnie Cates, Google images.
No, that's what I mean. Whoever took that picture, they're not seeing what I see.
I'm swiping left on all of them. So, so I've heard rumors, and we hear this rumor every year, but what the different comic book companies are doing, and I'm seeing 3 different trends right now. DC, I'm hearing 6 months, no more books. so Infinite Frontier is not all that infinite. I'm
I heard a different story.
Okay.
I heard that I've heard it from multiple, but I think I heard one of them was from you, one of the sources, that they're contracting down to 12 series. They're going to be 100-page specials, and it's going to be kind of like the old Tales from the Crypt from the 50s, where they're like 8 to 10 pages each. They're like basically the whole DC universe is going to be anthologies. That could be a rumor.
I would buy those books if it was Superman Family and Batman Family and Blue Ribbon Digest. I would be there. Don Chen says we should write in Keith Gleason for.
Thanks, Don. Don should be written in there too. Don was selling, 80,000 copies back in the 80s.
Yeah, but this had to be a book that came out in 2020, and of course,
okay.
Good skirting around there.
BAP2 in the chat wants to know if the Wild Stars Omnibus has the covers for each of the volumes inside the omnibus. You reprint the covers.
It does,
inside,
but
right?
they're black and white. But it does have the covers in the omnibus. It also has all the covers from the comic books inside the omnibus too. They're used like chapter titles.
That would make sense. Don says that Donnie Cates looks like Adam Levine. In his picture. So. Well, I would actually buy those anthologies from DC if they did that. Wouldn't have to worry about crossovers and stuff like that. Give me the I love those family books that they had back in the day, and the 100-page super specials. Marvel's rumor, on the other hand, is like for every book that gets canceled out there, print another title so that we can fill that spot on the shelf. So there's just a wall of Marvel
with 10 variant covers.
Yes.
Yeah, and they're usually all junk too.
It doesn't matter.
It's a retailer incentive. God. Oh.
The retailer.
The
singular. There's one guy in New York City. Yeah, what variants? Okay, he speaks for you all.
They have some real outrageous ones for this upcoming previews, but it's not as much as normal. So.
Did you see how many they had on Eternals?
Oh yeah, they had close to 50 different covers. Most of them you could order regardless. I
was curious. Was that any good? Did anyone read that?
Yes, I did.
How was it?
I liked it. I thought it was it was like Kieran Gillen type of story. There's very little fisticuffs, but there's a mystery, and you get introduced to the characters. So. If you're a new reader, it might be a little tough, but overall, I thought it was a pretty good first issue. I think cool. You have to care about Marvel enough to want to read it because the Eternals have always been kind of.
Yeah, right. I think the last thing I read was that Neil Gaiman one that they did of that. That was pretty good.
It was.
The only one I've ever read was like an annual or a special in the 90s that I'm a huge Mark Teixeira fan, or Texiera, however you say his name, and he did the art on it. That's the only reason I own the thing is his art.
Last Eternals I read, Jack Kirby drew. So it's been a while. I did see the headline somewhere, and I don't know if it meant for this issue or an upcoming issue, but basically the Eternals, as in all of them, were gender fluid. And that was the big confirmation.
So there's this character, I forget, Sprite, I think is the name of the character, and it's a she now, whereas I guess it was a boy before.
It's a they. It's a they. Come on, Yule.
Well, I'm doing it so that I can be a little bit specific right now about what's going on. Now I'll say they say it's not uncommon for the Eternals to do it, because it's not like, oh, I did it yesterday and then today I'm moving forward. It's after 25,000 years, I think I'll try something different. And, think of Zeus or all the gods that come to Earth and take shapes and pretty much rape women. The uncomfortable laugh there.
Which always, to me, said more about the women than it did about the gods. I mean, and not to say that they're loose, but come on, it's a swan. What in the world?
It's really strange. I will admit that, but these gods have a way about them.
Yes, so man.
So I don't think it was really that bad. It's just more philosophical, more than playing into the whole gender fluid thing. It's just saying it more than really playing into it too deep.
Well, change of topic for a little bit here. We'll ease in with Batman, since it's comic book. We have gotten it's finally seasons for review things on DVD again. Time to review DVD releases. So the spate of mail is increasing, and so this is the first thing that I've had a chance to review. Have anybody seen this yet?
No, I have not. I've seen the cover art. I haven't watched it.
I saw a preview for it. It looked interesting.
It's interesting. I mean, they've taken Richard Dragon from being the Occidental master of the Eastern arts and turned him into more of a Bruce Lee, James Bond kind of character. So he's an Asian character again, which I wasn't really bothered by. I mean, nobody cared about Richard Dragon anyway, but you might wonder how an Asian character in Nanda Parbat gets the name Richard. And kept it. But it was Lady Shiva and Bronze Tiger and Batman. And I liked it. I liked the fact that Batman wasn't the best fighter on the team. And he wasn't even as good as the people he was fighting against, but he was a member of it. And one of the things that Richard Dragon noticed was like, will you please put your mask on, because you are so much better of a fighter when you're in costume. Bruce Wayne would get his ass kicked, and he's like, no, put the mask on. You fight better with it.
There's a lot of baseball players who do that. I got to wear my batting gloves and all my stuff, or otherwise I can't hit.
And then Don got me turned on to this one, so when we had the opportunity to review it, I had to get a copy of it. This is Batman.
That was a lot of fun. I saw that.
Not to be confused with Batman. This is Mel Gibson is Kris Kringle, and he's taken on a military contract to help make ends meet. So he's making weapons for the military. At the same time, some billionaire's kid takes out a hit on him for the lump of coal that he got for Christmas.
And the hitman is Walt Goggins. I don't know if you guys know Walt Goggins. Yeah. He's fantastic. He steals the movie.
So I can't wait to get into that one. I have not seen that one yet.
It's fun.
I also haven't finished Doom Patrol Season 2 yet, so that's going to be popping up on there soon. And I don't even remember requesting this one, so this might end up on our site as being a giveaway if you keep your eyes peeled for it. This is Snowpiercer, Season 1. This was a movie that they turned into a series about people who live on a train that goes around the world during an ice age. So
took the words out of my mouth. I haven't seen the show, but I love the movie.
Okay,
yeah, me too. I love the movie. And then I was going to watch the show, and then I watched the movie again. And I'm like, what else do they need to say? So I kind of skipped over the show.
Heroinberg asks, are there any Asian masters of the Occidental arts, even accidentally? Yeah, there's accountants. But I'm not going to go with my list anymore here. We were talking about what DC was doing and what Marvel was doing. Dynamite's the only other one I see with a new trend, and their trend is they've always licensed their characters out from other people. So you got your Red Sonja from one place, Vampirella from another. Project Superpowers is all public domain, but they're unifying that world lately. They're stealing, quite frankly, from DC because they're creating a multiverse. They call it plural worlds. So it's like, this person's from plural world 4412, and they're using bigger numbers instead of 1, 2, and 3 like DC does. So they got, what is it? Vampirella, Dark Powers, and then the last one that came out was Red Sonja and the Superpowers, where the Project Superpowers come to her Earth because they've detected a metahuman signature, and it's this wizard that she's out to kill. And issue 1 pretty much ends with her gutting them. So they weren't the best superheroes to send to her place.
I read the Vampirella Dark Powers one. It's pretty good. Sorry, Michael. I talked over you.
That's okay.
Is that the series Christopher Priest is doing?
No, that's the regular Vampirella. Dark Powers is written, I think, by Paul Davison, or maybe he's the artist. And
Abnett.
Oh, it's written by Abnett. It's drawn by Paul Davison, and Vampirella is being brought into this superpower, Project Superpowers group from all these people from different Earths, and they're taking on this guy. And Vampirella in the very beginning is just eviscerating all these villains. I mean, just like going to town. It's like 7 pages of her just gutting people and biting their necks and just ripping people up. And they're all heavily armed, and they have like space guns and all this other stuff. And she's just ripping them apart. And then the superheroes come in, and they're like, "Oh my God, what did you do?" Some people are like throwing up, and can't handle it. You're supposed to work well with others. What's going on here? You're not even wearing that. You're still wearing that skimpy suit and all. It's pretty funny. I liked it, actually.
I liked what I saw with the Red Sonja one. I thought the story was well written. Dan Abnett's doing that one as well, so he's definitely unifying it from both sides of the house there. My only concern is that I keep thinking of Conan and the Avengers.
Some people like that.
Now, with
Predator Conan, personally.
I got a question. With Dynamite making these changes with the characters, are the Gold Key characters, Turok, Solar, and Magnus, are they involved in this, or are they on the bench?
They're not even in Dynamite. I think they're at Valiant.
Turok is separated from the other Valiant characters, and I think so is Magnus. And I think
none of the Gold Key characters came to the 2012 Valiant.
Exactly.
They'd never been a part of it.
So I think Dynamite might actually be doing Magnus and Turok sometimes. Maybe
they did. I don't know. It was 2016, 2017.
Yeah, there was
series of all those characters, and they were great. I loved them, but then they just stopped.
They did Solar. They did Turok, and they did what's that other one? The magician guy. I forget what that.
But the one where Magnus, instead of being the traditional Magnus we know, he was a psychiatrist for other robots.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah, it was really good. I actually bought all those myself. I thought those were good.
I think you were thinking of Dr. Mirage.
Not Dr. Mirage.
No, damn it, let me look for the thing.
It was like Dr. Mordro or something, or I forget what the character's name. If you look up the Gold Dr. Spectre, that's what it is.
Oh, okay.
The Gold Key covers, if you ever saw those, they were brilliant back in the day. Like the very nice painted look, and
I always enjoyed those characters.
Yeah, Dr. Spectre was the supernatural. Solar, Man of the Atom was the. That was a really interesting book too for a long time with Valiant doing it. They were getting very metaphysical and quantum mechanics about that. It was
Second Life of Dr. Mirage too. That's a really underrated title.
Yeah.
I guess that's my philosophy about this whole thing. I'm far more interested in Valiant and Dynamite and these companies than the big two.
Do you
I don't even like
sell?
to say their names anymore.
Do you sell Valiant online? Do people care?
I have a hard time selling the stuff from, let's say, 91 to 94. The later Acclaim issues sell because of the low print runs. There's actually interest in the new Valiant, people trying to fill holes in the collections. But yeah, the issue, Shadow Man with 700,000 copies in print, it's quarter bin at best.
Yeah, I find a lot of the Armorines and stuff like that.
Yeah, a lot of those.
Really cool.
High Lords, remember that one? Yeah.
Oh yeah,
not everything was a home run.
I didn't. Valiant really wasn't my jam. I only liked anything that Dave Lapham did. He did Harbinger, and then I followed him when Shooter went Defiant, and they did like Warriors of Plasm, and then eventually Lapham went and did his own stuff, which is genius. But yeah, or something with Quesada drawing it.
I've got an epic fail story for that Warriors of Plasma. I had a competitor at that time who thought he was going to be one ahead of the curve. And you know how they did a little sneak preview comic in previews. We thought, hey, that's the first appearance of this new hot character in the comic book series from Shooter. So he bought a truckload of that issue of previews thinking that was going to be real valuable. He comes into my store after he's gone bankrupt, closed down. He comes into my store with his tax form, wanting to take like a $70,000 deduction off his taxes for a donation of all this stuff that he made the mistakes of buying, and want me to co-sign off on it. And it stated very clearly that if I said that was a legitimate deduction, and the government said it wasn't, the tax debt would fall on me. And I was like, I'm not signing that. He got all angry. Yeah, that's fine. I don't care. I'm not
Have your
signing
accountant sign that.
You don't be paying for your bad decisions.
Oh man,
Big fail.
I have seen where first appearances and like primers and stuff like that, not full comic books, sometimes those are technically considered people's first appearances, but I think if you're going to the previews guide, that's pretty yeah,
you're reaching there. And even then,
I did hear one previews that did do well on eBay, the first appearance of Miles Morales. So the previews, I heard that went for a few $100s.
Wow.
That's the only example I've ever heard of previews do anything. Miles Morales.
So first Miles Morales was in a previews magazine, and they're counting that?
Yeah, I heard that somebody paid a lot of money for a copy on eBay. Paid a few $100s.
I don't recommend it.
That's the first time I've ever heard of previews going for anything.
But yeah, those Kamiko Primer issues, some big stuff debuted in there, like the Max and Youngblood and the Savage Dragon. So there's a reason that they're in demand. Just some character's first issue, who cares?
Right.
Now, I was going to throw this question out if Dave was here, because I know that Dave carries these. But you're the only one at the comic store, and Brian, you're the one who's doing the eBay store.
I've been e-commerce the entire time.
Do you guys do any resale on crowdfunded books?
Someone else go first. I got a thing about that.
All right, let me tell you. I have, for the most part, stayed away from crowdfunded comic books for a store level tier, and usually, what you get as a store, it's going to cost too much to jacking the price up over what a person that is going to buy it crowdfunded anyway. It's very difficult. And sometimes there's a discount, but it's not like when you're buying comics from previews or Diamond.
Sure.
But Tim Truman is doing a scout. This is a couple years old now, but I bought a retailer tier for that because it's Tim Truman. And I also recently did the Scott Snyder book, the Sean Gordon Murphy book, Plot Holes, because I had I have a faith that he will get it out on a timely basis. The discount was proper. And I also personally ordered one for myself, different. So I appreciate the effort that he put forward. He is not going to make as much selling those retailer tiers as if he just jacked the price up for one person. but he wants to get his stuff seen by a lot more people and has a different goal that he's working on than other crowdfunders.
Yeah.
But I want to buy more. It's just usually it's easier when it comes through Diamond or Lunar right now with the DC stuff. And it's like I said, it's tough. But I would like to do more. It's just you're paying money up front for something that you aren't sure it's going to sell. And I've been really arguing for returnability from comic books anyway. And again, crowdfunding doesn't really help me on that aspect either.
No, it doesn't. Brian, what are you jumping in on with?
Okay, so I'm going to try to keep this focused and quick. That
not like me.
Yeah, instead of getting off at weird tangents. But I see a divide already between what we're calling the crowdfunders, I want to make my own book and be independent, not have some twerp with a degree from Pepperdine telling me to change stuff. I get that. But then you got the Comicsgate crowd, and they're still fighting for their right and all that. I think that they're like really tied into this time period now. It's kind of a chaotic battle, and it's not going to age well. So the hits are going to come out of the crowdfunding group, if that makes sense. As a fan, there's a lot of this stuff I like. There's our guest here, who I love his book. There's a lot of things as a reader to look forward to. As a retailer, as a seller, and remember, I'm on the secondary market here. There's a lot of opportunities to buy in bulk, especially when the campaigns are going. But a lot of these books, this is a year to watch. A lot of these books coming out are going to swing and miss. That they're going to give 100% and no one's going to care. And you're stuck with a box of junk. So what I'm looking for is to compare it to music. You know, right now, everyone's kind of handing out demo tapes. Hey, listen to my demo. I got a new band, right? Eventually, a Nirvana is going to break out. Eventually, an Eminem is going to break out. And I'm really keeping my eyes open to that. But to answer your question, the only series I've had financial success as a retailer on is Blood Realm by Alterna Comics. They have a really passionate, dedicated following where I want the second, third, and fourth, and fifth prints with all the different changes. They buy everything. Yeah. Basically, I'm not saying Robert Geronimo's like internet Jesus or something, but he's definitely ahead of the pack.
No, we've had Robert on the show, and I do like his stuff. I like watching him on other streams because what I do is I close my eyes and I hear Ray Romano.
I would love to have him for my art professor. He has the best day job that's perfect for him.
Yeah, he's such a good guy.
About, crowdfunding publications and comics without me pitching that I've got a story in a Kursova #5 that's being kickstarted right now that includes a comic. Of course, it's a reprint comic, but a thing called Bad Axe that ran in 3 parts back in '89 and '90, and he's included in the magazine. And I did the art restoration to bring it up to make it look like modern standards there. And so something I want to check out. It's called Kursova #5. It's their 5th anniversary issue, and in it they have the first part of my 5th Wild Stars novel, The Atomic Paradigm.
And that dovetails perfectly into why I brought this up in the first place. And by the way, that was Kursova was on our show last night. So if you see our video streams, you'll find our discussion with them and the link to their Kickstarter. So you'll be able to hit that up. Of course, Harrowinberg's probably right on top of things right now because he's a great wrench. He'll probably have the link to that showing up in the chat within moments. But here's what we've done since the last time we've talked as an LCS Guys show. Because I'm always thinking how to make money because I'm broke. It's like, what else can I make money? And I looked at all these crowdfunders, and we have all these ones coming over from overseas because they're not just all made in America, but I think they're all mostly bought in America. And I think one of the impediments to the U.S. crowd buying a UK crowdfunder or an Australian crowdfunder is that you're looking at a $10 book, and then you're looking at $20 to $25 in shipping for that book. And most people are going to just nope right out of that. So here's what we did. I crunched all the numbers. I ran a business plan up, ran it past several different people in the UK, in Canada, in Australia, said, what do you think? And I got positive feedback pretty much all around. So we've opened up a new arm, link in the description below, Critical Blast Logistics. And basically what we do is we work with, if you're in the UK or Australia or anywhere outside the United States, and you want to do a crowdfunder, talk to us first. We estimate what it's going to cost you to ship all of your books for the US here in one box. And then we tell you what we will charge to distribute them in Gemini mailers and bags and boards and everything else. And we get that shipping cost to the US back down to that $10 level or less that you're seeing with all your other domestic crowdfunders. So you're on an even footing when you're competing against a crowdfunder in the US. And that is the core of what we're trying to do here. Now, that being said, our first client is domestic. It's Kursova Magazine, and it's basically because he doesn't want to do the fulfillment. He just wants that somebody else take care of it. And I'm like, yeah, be happy to. we'll take care of you. But as I started rolling this out, I got to thinking, if you're going to see, if you sell 100 crowdfunded books to the US, why not send us 120? Because you're going to go in demand, and it means you're going to sell more. We can send them out straight from here. You don't have to send another shipment of books. Just save the money. We'll just ship them out straight from here. But then I thought, well, if you're going to send us 120, send us 150. Because now hear me out, because this is where the big step comes in. Because if I've got, excess of, and I'm just throwing out titles I know off the top of my head. These are not people who are working with the title. But if I've got an excess amount of Charlie's London, and I've got an excess amount of Mary Boys, and an excess amount of Gleason, now I can say, hey, Ewell, Michael, all you U.S. retailer people, I have limited print runs of import independent comics in my catalog inventory. This is how many I have of each one. Would you like any in your store? Because now you have the option of going in a la carte, saying, yeah, send me 2 of those, one of those.
Yeah, I definitely want a Charlie's London for sure. I'm definitely interested in that.
Well, see, you could get them all in one box now, so there wouldn't be shipping on each title. It'd be like you'd get from Diamond if Diamond did everything in one box instead of splitting them up. You get one shipping cost from Critical Blast Logistics that would have all your books in one box. You pay one shipping fee. You pay the money to us for the books. We send the money back to them because we don't collect money on books. We just make the money on the shipping.
Now, what we do
right
as
now, I'm
store,
highly interested. And there's
what we do as a store, we try and pitch this comic to the customers, and we get our numbers. Then we order it from you, and then you send the 5 or 7 copies we need in order to sell this thing.
Yeah.
One other thought on that Kursova book I was telling you about, it's got retailer levels on there where you can get some pretty good discounts, and also an exclusive Genzo Man cover. I don't know if you know who he is. He does a lot of work for Udon Studios. It's
All right.
pretty good.
I didn't see that part. I'll look
right.
for it. Yeah.
Here's a hypothetical
They have
scenario I have for RJ with that.
Okay.
In theory, this summer, later on this year, something really special is happening in Brazil and Argentina right now. There are some really sharp, hot-looking artwork coming from South America. And if that became not just one guy breaking out, but like the British invasion that became Vertigo, if that happens again, yeah, I'd come to you and give me 5 copies of everybody from Brazil. You watch for that one in the future.
I know a lot of people are having their artwork done by those artists in Brazil for American comics because the page rate is just so low with the currency conversion and cost of living and everything down there.
And they just kick the you-know-what out again, not to beat up on the big 2, but they deserve it because it's all self-inflicted. These guys are drawing their asses off, and the ones in New York are, going to get lunch. I can see who's putting forth the effort and who's not.
It's true.
Rebel Gaming's in the chat says, you want Niobe on your shelves. And yeah, you do. You saw Niobe on our list of nominees for Best Comics, so you saw the artwork on that one. Plus, I forgot the guy's name now. Never mind. There's an alternate cover by Green. I can't remember his first name, though. and he did some cool stuff. But on that topic,
all right,
let's finish up with the best comics artist of 2020. The nominees are Brian and Brendan Frame for starring Sonia Devereaux.
Okay.
Kanan White for Grim Fairy Tales, although he's done a lot of other things, but that was the book that actually came out in 2020. Yeah. He's going to be an artist to watch.
Oh, yeah.
Dr. Darren Bell for his work on Dominion. He's also the writer on that series, but Gilliam March for his work on Batman.
I like his stuff.
Illustrator Monk, for whom there exists no picture, for his work on Saving the World and Lillian Wepwet. Jorge Menez for his work on Batman.
That's the one I meant earlier.
Yep.
Yeah. Matthew Weldon for Punchline, not the DC one, the pre-existing Punchline.
Yeah, how does that work? Do you know?
Oh, so many.
Did someone get paid? Or is someone pissed?
Or does someone not know about it yet?
Oh, they know.
They know about it.
I know they know. I mean, I don't know, but I know.
And finally, Preston Acevedo for his work on Doc Salem. So, and it looks like Kong versus Godzilla as well. Preston Acevedo is another name to watch because he's showing up on a lot of people's work lately, doing alternate covers and pinups and stuff. But yeah, well, you know, the Tap Dance Killer folk, they actually, okay, Punchline is a book in which there is no character named Punchline. All right.
Okay.
Tap Dance Killer is a book in which there is a character named Punchline who happens to be a gangster killer clown. So there's a lot of
this is all very confusing now.
Yes. So, and it was all fun and games and, like, you know, feeling kind of poked and irked and, well, they better not, you know, I hope they better, you know, we came and that kind of stuff. You know, if he tweaked my little pink tomato nose, why I would blah, blah, blah. And it all got a little bit hairier when DC decided to say, hey, you know what? We're going to do a Punchline comic book.
It was just a one shot.
It was just a one shot. Now there's a masthead, though, with, you know, I didn't look at see if there's that trademark in the circle R. And Michael, you know all about how that works with the title of a comic book that's very similar to yours.
You have to fight to protect your rights. That's for sure.
Yes, you do. I'll just say there used to be an image book out there of a certain title that doesn't exist anymore. And it had a title very similar to the title that Michael was working on, and that Michael.
Oh, come on, tell me which one.
Well, Michael worked on.
What was that?
Am I turning red yet?
Yeah, Michael worked on a book called Wild Stars. So if you can think of any image book that used to sound similar to that,
was it Jerry Ordway? Did you get on him? Was that who it was? Jerry Ordway?
The dispute between Image Comics and myself has been resolved to mutual satisfaction of both parties, and Image will never again do a Wild Star comic.
Oh, no more Al Gordon and
that. And if you search on criticalblast.com for that, you'll find the whole story from when I interviewed Michael on this 20 some odd years back. that was an old story, but yeah, it's like when I saw, you know, punchline, and I'm like, I've seen this movie before. I know where this goes. If they choose to fight it, so it would be very interesting to see where it's going to go. There's actually a fourth Punchline out, but it's like such a low-level tier, and it's another boxing clown kind of Punchline Detective, I think it's called. And I don't know, there's just a bunch of Punchlines out there all of a sudden. And now DC's muddied the water by being a big person using a character that already existed.
Sounds like clowns are the new zombies.
They had to have that like reserved already. I mean, you would hope. I mean, they had to know they would do something.
Registered trademark doesn't mean somebody's not going to try to take it away from you.
That's true.
No.
They're like, Marvel already got slapstick. We better put punchline down.
Yeah. Aaron, there's only one way to settle this: 3 punchlines enter, 1 punchline leaves.
Oh, I like
Put it
that.
on pay-per-view.
I mean, she'll slash your throat. So I hope the tap dance killer can keep up.
Oh, he is the clown who will take you down. Yeah. Their punchline at Hero Tomorrow Comics is let me think if I remember his name right now. He's a former boxer, heavyweight boxer, and he was going for the title, and his manager said, "Take a fall," and he's like, "Hell no, I'm not taking a fall." So they dosed him with his water, double dosed him. They dosed him with a narcotic to make him loopy, and also a steroid to make him show that he was juicing. So he took the fall, and then he failed the test afterward, the drug test. So it looked like he'd been juicing all that time and just was put out in disgrace. So he was an easy recruit for the vaudevillains. Like, hey, come over here and we'll help you with money.
I thought you were gonna say that his manager was like, it was like, you are slow on your feet. You better take a tap dance class so that you can get a little.
Character. This is a different character.
Oh, I didn't realize.
Tap Dance Killer is another vaudevillain. And hey, I'll just say Tap Dance Killer, the miniseries, by the way, was nominated in 2018 for our best comic series and swept. They took best writer, best artist, and best comic series for the year for 2018. And if you have Tap Dance Killer hardcover on your shelves, if you just turn it around on the back, it says right there, Critical Blast winner for 2018.
Really? I like that. Do you have do you have an award name? Like, are these the Blasties or something like that?
You're the second person to say the Blasties. We do have like the actual trophy.
Wow, look at that!
That's like.
I hope you have a comic store nominee for next year.
Well, we might just do that. This is the misprint for Scott Snyder's best writer last year. I took it back to the trophy store and like, hey, this is like all coming off. And they're like, oh, we'll redo it. So I kept this one, and now I've got an example to show people, plus a place to keep my pens.
Maybe Scott Snyder does.
That's probably what with the two. He's like, I'm just keep my crayons in it or something. I'll let my daughter play with it. But that's also what the Joker thing is sitting on right here. And by the way, as we get, Drayton Hayes. Thank you, Heroinberg. I could not remember his name to save my life because I'm 53 years old with early onset dementia, apparently. It sucks, man. I'm sitting here like triangulating names all the time now. Trying to remember, what was that guy's name? Oh, yeah.
Welcome to my nightmare. Who's who? Who did what? Yeah, I feel your pain.
But this is, folks, the figure we are giving away live on this stream. And it's been an hour and 20 minutes. We've kind of talked around everything, gone through the whole best ofs, talked about.
I got 2 notes on the way out the door. One I meant to say at the beginning. The other one you reminded me of a minute ago. There's actually a bright spot for DC in the secondary market. Duke Thomas, known as the Signal.
Yes.
His first appearance was Batman 21 during the new 52 run. That book is starting to heat up. I've seen it going for $25. I don't know what they're doing with the character, but there is some interest in that. So keep your eye on that.
I saw those online too. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm talking like within the last month that started heating up. It's real recent. The other thing is getting back to conventions in real life, and let's get back to normal.
Please.
You heard that company, TriStar, the convention promoter? They mostly do sports cards. They do a big show every year in Houston in January. Obviously not this January. It has been rescheduled for June. June is not that far away. If this actually happens, I can't wait to go. It's in the George R. Brown Convention Center, which is like 3 blocks of Houston, downtown Houston. It's a huge convention hall, and it's a free-for-all. It's like video games, magic cards, sports cards, comics. Let's keep our fingers crossed this thing actually happens this summer.
I hope so. Keith, did you want to share your crowdfunder screen here? We can go through kind of what the.
Yeah, well, I can share. Well, my Mighty Mascots one is closed, but I can.
Or
Want to share? Want to share Don's?
Yeah, let's share Don's.
All right, yeah, let me see.
This is Don Chen's X-Farce #1, which is reloaded, remastered. Some of it is X-Farce that was done back in the 90s. The one that sold 80,000 copies.
Yeah, right.
which would put it in the top 5 today if it did this.
All right, let me. I'm loading it up right now here.
Now, the piece that you worked on is like making fun of the Professor X and Moira McTaggart bench scene. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm making fun of that whole storyline, the Powers of X, House of X.
Uh-huh.
I'm making fun of how I actually enjoyed it. I like Jonathan Hickman, but I made fun of how overly complicated it is for no reason. So like that storyline was so perfect because of having them just sitting on that park bench and talk. I could just kind of go over the entire storyline just with them talking, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it kind of is, you know. It's 5 pages just making fun of it. I added 3 characters to the X-Farce universe with my storyline, I guess. So we got Moira McMorbid. I added Eclipse. So it's like Apocalypse, but he's like a moon theme. And then I also added Forge Knight. So it's like Forge, but he's holding one of those stupid unicorn sticks from the game Fortnite.
Nice.
So it's a lot of fun. It came out really good, and I can't wait to show it to Don, and hopefully he likes it, what I did for him. So
Don says that your work and art is in the updates section. So
okay. Let's take a look.
Load it.
Boom.
We'll get it full screen here. No one wants to look at our ugly nugs anyway.
Let's see.
Scrolling.
You're at it. I'll just look at my first print of X-Farce. I mean,
So
This is very nice.
So
What you
that's
prints of X-Farce, Yule?
I got my first print right here.
Oh, hang
oh,
on.
gee, really? That's great.
Yeah, right here.
So that's the page Don shared. I'm going to be sending him all the final pages today with all the lettering on it and stuff.
Dude, that looks great. I thought it was funny. I mean, I already immediately I know what's going to happen here. It's hilarious. It's just one page. Great stuff.
Oh, thanks. Where do you see? I drew. I had Ian draw the page with Professor X over all the eggs, you know, the mutant eggs and stuff, and he's just like writing on all the eggs, like just ridiculous things. Like one of them says like colored by Paz, you know, and stuff like that. You know, so it's just a lot of fun.
Yule, you say you got a first printing there?
I don't know if it's really a first printing, but you know, here it is.
Oh, look at
Oh,
that.
nice, awesome.
Oops. Yeah. Oh, wait. Before we look at the back, it's an advertisement for Dragonflight
Oh,
and McCaffrey right there.
That's the best. The old ads in the book.
Oh yeah, these are.
Oh, yeah.
especially for these older companies or these independent companies too.
the ads in the letters pages. I used to go through.
Oh, letters pages, RJ.
I love going through the old letters pages and looking and seeing the names of people who are writing comic books today.
Actually, I could show this too, RJ. This is this is the cover of issue 4 of the Mighty Mascots, which Peter released here. Let me see if I can get it to come up.
Right? If you have,
All right, hang on. I'll bring it up in Photoshop.
if you have old issues of Wizard magazine from pretty much any point of Wizard's existence, and they have, you know, the fan art section each month, Go back and look at those. You would not believe how many of the people who had their stuff in Wizard magazine became pros later on. It's mind blowing.
Oh yeah. Paul Kupperberg was putting up some random books that he had done, and one of them was an Arion Lord of Atlantis. I'm like, oh my God, that's the one that I had my first letter printed on the letters page. And it's like 5 minutes later, he's like, so you were the Unknown Valley dude? I'm like, oh crap.
So that's the cover of issue 4 that'll be coming out from Alterna sometime next year.
So
it's going to go to the
backers.
What's that?
I don't know if the retailers here know who the Mighty Mascots are.
Okay.
No,
is this this is the group that got their powers from like, I'm not gonna, it's not Kellogg's obviously characters.
Yeah. No, they were actually the real cereal mascots, but they were brought to life by a 3D printing accident. So
that's right. I did read it. Swear. Is this the first volume still?
Yeah. Well, what happened was with Alterna, like he was having all the creators do miniseries so that he could kind of game the system with Diamond. But as soon as Alterna walked away from Diamond, he asked all the creators if we wanted to just make our series ongoing. And I think just about everybody did it except for a couple. So that's what it is now. I think so this was supposed to be the next mini series, but instead it's going to be 4, 5, and 6 now.
Awesome.
And this is
the best of both worlds, because you got the ongoing story, but you're also not tied down to that monthly schedule.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. And I this new storyline, they're going up against evil video game mascots, if you couldn't tell.
I mean, there's no reason why you have to start over with number 1 every time you go into another chapter of a story. We went 700, 800 issues of Detective Comics just fine. And we didn't, need to have number 1 again.
That attitude of the constant number 1s and the previews catalog and Diamond's nonsense is what got us to this point in this conversation today. Let's not forget that.
Destroy the comic.
Well, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and you can't really build a readership, if you're constantly rebooting and,
Yeah.
So this is great. So I really, Alterna's like been the best for me. Really has. Like Peter's a great publisher.
I like Peter a lot.
Yeah, he's got a lot of great ideas. Like I know like the first time I met him at a convention and we just talked for like a half hour just about the business and just everything. And this was before I even pitched to him. And I was like, this kid, he just gets it. Like he just knows,
Well, he's also not one of those people who thinks he knows everything. It was, I don't know, right before Christmas, he kind of asked around everyone on Twitter of, what do you guys think of non-traditional sizes? And I responded, a lot of people responded back, we don't mind smaller, like the ash can or half size, because they fit in, the regular supplies. I don't like bigger. Savage Sword of Conan, Punisher magazine, you got to buy brand new supplies, new boxes. And so like now he knows how everyone feels instead of guessing.
Yep. Yeah, no, I agree with you too. It's like when you have to like it's just obnoxious sometimes to do that,
Yeah, I've got some A4 or magazine-sized books too, and I've got enough of them now to where it's like it's unwieldy to leave them just stacked up on top of my long white boxes, and I don't want to turn them in there sideways because I'll forget where they are. So I'm going to have to buy an A4 box at some point, and it's just going to be mostly empty, which is going to suck because I don't have all those Howard the Ducks and Savage Swords and Man God.
Time to start getting them, man.
I guess so.
Time to get some love and rockets.
They were fantastic stories. I'm surprised DC never got it. Well, DC did it with Black Label recently, I guess, but they quickly brought them back down to normal size.
But my point about Peter and Alterna versus the big two and corporate nonsense tells you what to like. Peter and Alterna ask you what you want. Big, big, big difference.
Yeah, and he's got a good knack for like getting like different, like he's got a ton of different genres, you know what I mean? Like he's good at like picking like that property that will, you know, appeal to like you know, fantasy or sci-fi or superhero or all ages, you know. He's got something for everyone, which I think is great, you know. And he's always, the thing I like about him too, he's always like a couple years ahead of all the trends, you know what I mean? Like he saw graphic novels dying like two years before they did, and you know, just everything. And like he's just a smart kid, good guy too.
Yeah, I love watching his streams and getting on there when I can, when he does the open mic thing, to get in there and push things like the Critical Blast logistics when I can, because I don't make a comic book and I want to get involved in this business somehow.
Sucker. Sucker.
Seems to be my way to do it.
Well, good, RJ. You're doing fine right now.
Just run, man. Just get out of here.
I hear it's a great way to make $100.
Hundreds of dollars? Is that what you said?
Yeah. It's a great industry in which you can make tens of dollars.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's like I still have a day job, so that just tells you that, you know. So
I've got mine tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Look at Michael over there, basically like just sitting in it, having a good time. You guys.
Well, let me say again. Let me say one more serious thing. That part of the secret of my success is I've diversified. I offer a lot of different stuff on my e-store, and my advice to, especially to RJ, don't forget about the trading cards. Non-sports cards are just as hot as sports cards. I was at Walmart today. The entire rack was empty except for one box of hockey cards. Guess what? Hockey is unpopular in Austin, Texas because there's no ice. So, you know, it's something to look into, whether it's manufacturing your own, reselling others. It ain't going away. It would have gone away already.
Justin Cargus got the best comment in the chat. It says, here's a way to make a small fortune in comics. Start with a large fortune.
But if you do, that'll soon be a small fortune, you know.
Exactly. Now, the old adage is the surefire way to make $1 million in publishing comics, all you got to do is spend $2.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to go to the Rafflecopter site while we're here, and I'm going to tell it to end the contest. So if you haven't got in there yet, you've got like a few seconds to do so, because I'm getting ready to end it. So we're going to pick a winner. And okay, this person's last name is Gleason.
Is it really?
But it's not Keith. So.
Oh, yeah, that was going to look funny for a second.
No.
Is it my wife?
Amy K. Is
that's my wife. Yes, I got it.
No rules. So, Amy, DM us on Twitter. Let us know where you want your gold Joker chase figure to be sent. We will get that out to you. Thank you very much for participating in the giveaway. We'll try to do these more often online, because I think it'd be kind of a fun thing. They'll get more popular. We'll get better stuff. Won't be just me cleaning up my shelves.
Oh, come on. That's got to be some gold there.
I just heard her from the other room going, "Oh no."
Not more crap.
I expect to see this on the back wall of the next time that Keith's
right.
Prominently displayed.
She's saying draw again. That's up to you, RJ.
Yeah, I can do it if you want.
Well, Amy, do you want it or no? Do you want it or no? She feels bad.
Don't feel bad. It's your lucky day.
Right. It's coming to you. It's yours.
Okay.
We're going to ship it.
Okay.
So let us know where you want it gone. Guys, appreciate you coming on here again. Happy New Year. or Michael, as I told him at the early beginning of the show, it's like, welcome to 2020 season 2.
Yep. This is a new number to hate.
We're supposed to have 2020 hindsight now, aren't we?
Oh, yeah. That was not that last year was not a vision.
You know what's sad though is we may be looking back at last year, going, "Man, those were the good old days." Remember?
Oh God. Yeah. Remember when all we had to deal with was murder hornets and COVID?
Oh, I didn't even see any murder hornets. I still have my fake baseball team named the Murder Hornets, and it's so sad.
I don't know. They're swear to God, last time getting serious. If I say the name Alex Jones, does that mean anything to anybody?
Sure, I know that guy.
Yeah, he lives here in Austin, unfortunately, and I'm watching him self-destruct live before my own eyes. I just bring this up because I think a lot of this impending conflict crap is hot air. It's just people that need to take a deep breath and get a life and go to work.
I think it's for bonus or for ratings. I'm sure.
That dude has, I don't know. We're not going to air out his dirty laundry here. He's got a lot of problems that he needs to take care of before he starts telling other people how to live. How about that?
Ryan, believe me, 8 years ago, no, 12 years ago, the Obama election, my wife, lifelong Democrat, Chicago Democrat, sitting here, we don't talk politics because I was not. I was Republican, she was Democrat, mixed marriage. And she was, teaching my infant son at the time to, say things like, my mama's for Obama. Yeah, can you say that? 4 years later, she's off the Democrat train. I'm like, okay, fine. If that's what it took to get you to come to, our side, great. Glad to have unity. Now, I'm a Trump voter, and she's like, help me understand these last 7 Q postings that were put out on Facebook here, because I'm like, no, you've gone too far. Come back.
Hilarious.
Oh, so I'm like, okay, can we just kind of settle and just sit next to me here? Just don't go nowhere.
I've seen it happen myself. It happened to my homeboy's sister that she went from not like lefty or anything, but just like, I could care less about this. I don't know who any of these people are, to off the high dive into the Q swimming pool. I've seen it.
I was like, no, the only Q I care about is the guy who makes stuff for James Bond.
I'm glad you didn't.
Q from Star Trek.
Oh, see, I was just. No, sorry, I gotta be serious about this. I didn't like Q.
There's a meme in there somewhere. Anyhow, we will be back again in 2 weeks. Get back on our regular schedule. We took 2 weeks off. I don't know why we took last 2 weeks off. It wasn't like it was New Year's Day. You guys talked me into a holiday, and I went ahead and gave it. Because I'm just a sucker. I'll let them have the day off.
Bi-weekly.
Yeah, bi-weekly. So we went a month now without it. Come back. Tomorrow night will be open mic night. So if you've got a crowdfunded comic you want to talk about, or just jump on and chat comics in general, 7 p.m. tomorrow on Sunday. Monday night, we'll have Rob Stanley on here talking The Bite of Brenna Barlow, which will be interesting. And then on Tuesday night, we will have Lee Byron Carver and the Company Men. So we've got some stuff coming up here, folks. So be sure to come back, assuming you all have Twitter accounts in the next couple of weeks.
Never done it. Never done it.
Well,
I'm not sure how much Twitter likes losing money. I don't think this is going to last.
Yeah, right. At the end of the day, it's a business, so we'll see.
Yes, it is.
We'll see. Well, yeah, and that's exactly what I've heard people say, is that, they can kick anybody out they want. It's a private business. Private business can do what they want. I'm like, cool. Thank you for saying that. Open my restaurants up again.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Because they're
Get
private.
touring going again. Okay.
Stays right, man.
There's
Stays
a
right.
great country singer named Morgan Wallen. He has a hit called Whiskey Glasses. I swear, this guy is on his way to becoming the next Garth Brooks. He was another one. He was supposed to have a big year last year. He said he will volunteer to do a COVID-only tour if we can get touring open again. You take your COVID test, if you're positive, then you come in.
Well, you know you're not affecting anybody, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, everybody's already got it. That sounds like
That's the you gotta have it to get in.
Do it like,
Yeah.
do it like a
Sitting at home
stand-up
sucks.
gig. You know, like one of those
Sure.
stand-up gigs I've been hearing about where they play on the back of a pickup truck in a parking lot. You know.
Mhm.
yeah, just show up. Like the concert on the roof that the Beatles did.
Yeah.
I tell you what, I've actually seen people play on their porches music. Not anybody professional necessarily, but it's kind of cool. And it's different world.
I saw a video of Patton Oswalt get out on his front porch with a megaphone and do stand-up comedy, and basically his neighbors looking at him like, "Would you shut up, please? We're trying."
Really? He got heckled.
Yeah, well, I think it was part of his
He
point.
started reading his MODOK series.
Is that
I
any
haven't
good?
read that. I'm just making fun.
Oh, okay.
Is it any good though?
I haven't read it. I just have it right here. Here, I'll show it to you.
I was kind of curious, but I'm kind of like done with the whole MODOK thing.
Yeah, for the most part, he's an easy joke anyway. But I don't know. I needed to get one for the store, so I thought I'd bring it home and read it.
Yeah, if it's good, let us know.
Yeah, I will. It looks good art, at least. It doesn't look like it sucks.
Yeah, when you come on here, sell the books that you want to sell. You know.
I'll tell you what. If you want to know of a hot book, I can't get it. So good luck getting it. Ha Ha #1 came out this week from Image.
Oh,
And
yeah, I heard
it
that.
was a strong book and a one shot, basically. Also,
that my wife reads that guy's other book from Image, Ice Cream Man,
yes.
and she actually ended up picking that up before they even announced the show, and you know, I think that first one's going for like $50-$60 now. isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Ha Ha already is going for a lot of money if you can get it.
Interesting.
Not
What
all
about
bad.
that other one he did, that King of Nowhere? Is that anything?
I had customers that liked it, but I never read it.
Okay. But it's not going anything financially.
I don't think so.
Okay.
It's just a mini series. I think the thing that helps Ice Cream Man is the longevity and the different covers and how it got hot, and you know, people didn't pick up for a while, and eventually TV. Like you said.
Department of Truth is awesome too.
I like
Have you
that
guys read
one.
that one? Yeah, really good book.
I like Stillwater. That's a Chip Zdarsky book.
Is that good?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
heard
that
about
one's excellent. James Tynan also does We Only See Them When They're Dead for
Okay.
Boom. There's good alternative mainstream comics. It's how I kind of look at them, you know. Everything's so company, like it has to be under an umbrella. So even the independents don't feel like they're really independent. But yeah, and there's going to be some really I'm looking forward to a bunch of the creators that are leaving DC or doing things for Image instead of DC. And then Daniel Warren Johnson is going to be doing a Beta Ray Bill series in March, and
That'll be cool.
that I can't wait for.
There's an indie-
I'll have to look for that one.
There's an indie group. I think it's Blaze Comics. I'm not sure, but they do.
Blaze.
Daughter of the Cimmerian.
Yes. So it's Conan. I'm sure Michael can tell you is public domain.
No,
well,
not completely.
Not completely.
That was a good part.
So
It's
there's
very-
weird ways that those rules work, and you can tell me more about it in a second. But Cimmerian is the name of the book, and then they're doing all the Robert E. Howard stories. Now you tell me.
Well, yeah, they thought that if they named it Cimmerian, that they could get around the content trademark. But the problem is the Sumerian's a trademark too, and so but they have come to terms with content properties and the Robert E. Howard properties and all that. It's a big corporation. Obviously, I'm dealing with them to do the Robert E. Howard art chronology that I'm working on now, and they came to terms. So it is now a licensed book. Originally, they thought they could kind of skirt around the issue, but that didn't work.
I see.
Dynamite did a similar thing years ago with Lord of the Jungle and John Carter Morris. They thought, well, the books had gone into public domain, but you keep the characters trademarked, and that's you can't use the characters' names. So and sometimes you terms like Sumerian, they're trademarked too. So it gets pretty tricky. And in both cases, both books ended up being licensed. The Dynamite one took a lot longer to come to fruition, but the Blaze one, they're licensed now.
Cool. Good to know.
I was going to get them because of the booby covers, but that's
Dude, those artwork in those stories is so well done. It's not as great as when Dark Horse was doing it with Busiek and Nord, but I think it's pretty good. It's darn good.
Well, it's on my list now that I can buy comics again. All right.
I like the King Conan one shot that just came out.
Yeah,
that was a step in the right direction.
McNiven is doing his best Barry Windsor Smith, and
that was genius too. With Roy doing like a prequel to the first issue, I thought that was a great idea.
I'm sure Michael wishes that people would stop doing Robert E. Howard stuff for at least 6 months so that he can find the last thing to put into his complete.
Oh yeah. Well, even like on my Egg Rice Burroughs chronology, they put so much stuff out since that thing got printed. If you ever do a new edition, I'd almost have to tack on a whole other volume. I mean,
when you guys stop?
They come up with a new issue of Days of Thor's, and it's a stack about this thick of just one issue, different covers from Dynamite. It's crazy.
Yep. And now Dynamite's using John Carter again. I know they danced around the name for a while. But yeah, in Dynamite, they've zombied him.
Did they really?
Yeah. Sorry, spoiler. John, everybody's being bit by zombies. So Deja Thoris got it. No, Deja Thoris didn't get it in the last issue. You didn't hear that, okay? I'm reading ahead. I'm not supposed to release that review until the Tuesday before the book comes out. Sorry, Dynamite. Don't cut.
Now there's going to be a run in the store for that. Thanks a lot.
Heard it here first.
Now the run to the store would be because of the reveal on the last page of the new character getting introduced to the series. Who? Well, you've seen the smiley face button throughout the whole thing.
Does that mean Evil Ernie?
Yes.
Nice.
He said it. I didn't. Here. I didn't tell anybody that Evil Ernie was showing up in Dynamite number 4.
Nice.
Keita.
I swear I didn't read it. I swear.
Technically, that is a guess and an assumption.
Yep.
All right. And before we get in any more trouble, I think I better close this stream out. So thank you everybody for showing up. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Everyone in the chat, appreciate you showing up. We don't have a show with you not showing up here. We've got over 1,300 subscribers of you folk. If you haven't subscribed yet, you're here. Hit the button. Why not? It doesn't cost you anything to do that. Hit the little bell so you get notified the next time we're online. So you don't have to rely on seeing a tweet from me. And of course, if you want to send a super chat, tough luck. We don't have enough hours yet, so we're working on that. We're at 1,800 hours. We've got to have 4,000 hours within a 12-month moving period, and we're getting to the point where it's like, more hours. Wait a second, we went down. Oh crap, they're dropping off the front end. So
it's just regular chat. It's not super chat.
Yeah, we'll take bat chats when we get them because that's just how we roll.
I'll take chit chat. Anything.
Anything. I had a guest on last week, and I was like, and if you really feel like you got to give us money, we've got a tip jar down there at PayPal. He put $10 in the tip jar. I'm like, you're the first person who's ever actually done it. Like, that's okay. I sold some books today. I'm going to pay it back. I'm like, cool. So anyway, We'll see y'all. Keith, best of luck with Mighty Mascots. Got some great stuff there. I, of course, backed X-Sparse today. So, I'm going to get to see the full script of your contribution there.
Awesome.
And we'll see you all in 2